too late to have a two-state solution in Israel and Gaza, President Tinubu tells world leaders in Riyadh. 17 political parties and their governorship candidates in Ondo State signed peace accord ahead of the November 16 governorship election. But will there be peace? National Assembly Parliamentary Support Group calls for a national discussion to return Nigeria to a parliamentary system of government. We have this and more on our lineup and some live updates from Benin, as there is going to be a change of government there in a few short moments. My name is Sisa Ogunfui. This is Political Update. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu says the world must work towards an end to the Israeli aggression in Gaza, which has persisted for too long a time, stating that no political aim, no military strategy, nor security concern should come at the expense of so many innocent lives. The president was speaking at the extraordinary Joint Arab-Islamic Summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Your Excellencies, Your Royal Majesties, the two-state solution stands as a beacon of hope. I agree. Representing the right of both Israelis and Palestinians to self-determination and peace. It is not just a diplomatic article of faith. It is a vision grounded in principle of quality and mutual recognition. Achieving this vision requires a commitment to dialogue and deal-making in respect for history. We know this conflict did not begin in October 2023. It can only be resolved through principled compromise based on appreciation of the proper context. The conflict in the security of history is so visceral that the ripples of this division spread far and quickly. The corrosive impact of images of endless violence repeated on 1 billion smartphones around the world is huge. We need to find a new pathway to peace without delay. Nigeria has always championed the cause of peace and cooperation among nations. Our own experiences, domestically and regionally, have taught us that identity politics are no substitute for respecting the nuances of diversity. The path to reconciliation may be fraught with challenges, but it is through honest conversation and deal-making that we can foster understanding.
All right, watch this space. Nigeria has made the categorical statement towards peace in Israel and Gaza, while Nigeria's leading agency in the fight against economic and financial crimes, EFCC, records milestone by the way of asset recovery and conviction in the last 1 year. The country is, however, still struggling to exit the grey list of Financial Action Task Force. The FTF considered Nigeria as a safe haven for supporting money laundering and terror funding.
Nigeria is not the only African country on the grey list of the FATF. It is also not relenting in tackling the menace of corruption head-on, as affirmed by the chairman of the EFCC when he hosted the Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes.
Made asset tracing and recovery one of our key objectives. And of course, we are happy to report to you in the last 1 year, we have done close to 250 billion. We have a relationship with the Accountant General's office now. We have been given access to GIVEMIS. We want to monitor releases live and where the money goes.
As the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, the director also said deployment of technology and improved funding are required to effectively tackle financial crimes.
The NFIU has strengthened its efforts to ensure reporting entities understand and comply with anti-money laundering and countering terrorism financing obligations. Financial crime taxes demands a continuous investment in technology and training.
Despite these challenges, there is confidence that Nigeria has what it takes to make a difference, as confirmed by the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission.
About 50 billion naira is being lost by African continent through illicit financial flow. As a result of that, the head of state of African countries agreed amongst themselves that there is need for Africa to come together, and through the glory of God, I was elected as the first chairperson of Africa's Recovery Practitioners Forum, whereby I was saddled with the responsibility of galvanizing the support and also to mobilize all the African corruption agencies and African recovery institutions in order to ensure that the stolen asset, the asset of African artifacts taken outside the African continent are identified, traced, recovered, and bring back to Africa.
The Senate committee, at the end of the oversight visit, says it would provide necessary legislative support for the agencies to function effectively.
To support them through budgetary provisions. We also look at we are also going to look at their laws to make sure that they make them to amend them, to give them more power and to ensure that they are efficient.
The oversight visit is to assess the performance of the agencies in the implementation of the 2024 budget preparatory to the presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill.
All right, we'll move now to the ancient city of Benin, because a new era has begun for Senator Monday Okpebholo as he takes over the baton of leadership from his predecessor, Godwin Obaseki, whose 8-year tenure ends today, that is the 12th of November 2024. We are being joined via Zoom from Benin by Reverend David Ugolo. Reverend David Ugolo was part of the civil society group, was part of the civil society groups that brought up this Edo State Situation Room during the election, and now that has culminated to today's activity, that is the handover to the new governor, Monday Okpebholo. What are your thoughts at this time, and that of the Benin people as well? I mean, the Edo State people as well.
First, I want to thank you for the opportunity. You really rightly know that the atmosphere here is very inspiring, and at least there's a transition from one government to another government, and under Monday Okpebholo. And this, there's no doubt, provides opportunity again to reflect on what has happened in the last 8 years, lessons to be drawn from it, and what can Monday Okpebholo do that could improve on what the former government have done. And that, for me, is something that will define the future and how the people will perceive and also assess the government. The most important thing and the lessons we should all learn is that power is transient. You start today, Monday is taking over today. In 4 years' time, he has an opportunity again to return back to the people. And the people will define whether he will be given the second tenure, or otherwise, he will be shown the way out. But I can tell you that the excitement is high here, and we're looking forward to an opportunity to define it. And one of those things we're doing as civil society is that we had the opportunity to provide monitoring during the elections. We had the opportunity to monitor this election, and we take note very seriously the promises that were made by different contestants, and we were very happy that most of the contestants also agree in principle that the issue of transparency, accountability, tackling corruption, tackling the lack of transparency in the procurement processes, and the issue of beneficial ownership, who is getting government contract. These are key issues to define the future and governance in Edo State.
It doesn't seem as if, hopefully we'll also, get live pictures from where the inauguration will take place. But let me put this to you. It doesn't seem as if they are starting on a very friendly note. There's been back and forth between those who are, coming in and those who are going out as to the level of information being exchanged as far as the transition is concerned. Some are even saying that the governor may not even attend this occasion. Well, why are we having this push and shove at this very crucial stage in the state?
Well, that has also made us, that it will interest you to note that probably I've sent out a letter to the outgoing governor, Governor Baseki, and then I've also sent letter to the incoming governor. I also sent letter to the Oba of Benin. I also sent letter to the Edo citizens. And in that letter, the key message that runs through those 4 letters is about building consensus and building legal framework around the issue of transition. Expectation from the incoming government, from the outgoing government, they are not defined by legal framework. And that's why, has informed the crisis you have experienced between the outgoing government and the incoming government. And so the lessons is that if there was a legal framework backed by law on how information should be presented to those who are coming in and those who are going out, then we would have been avoid this situation we have found ourselves, whether Governor Baseki was invited or not. And I'm sure that this incoming government, in their request, is very clear, and that would be the basis to now continue to demand that there should be a legal framework. There are lessons that we have learned that because of the absence of legal framework, when you say handover note, what does it really mean? What does it really mean in Nigeria? Handover note. Who defines handover note? It is subjective. It depends on the relationship between the outgoing and the incoming. And that's what you have seen in Edo, because they are different political parties. The outgoing government is PDP and the incoming government is APC. And if you look and reflect on the campaign, it was very, very tensed, and this situation is not very friendly, and that's what you are seeing that have manifested in the transition process. But I am happy, democracy prevailed at last, and we should not see it as surprising, because even in the United States, we have seen how recurrent a political process can be, and you can see that Donald Trump won, and you can see how Democrats have peacefully accepted the defeat and wish Donald Trump a successful reign. This is the kind of element we want to see. This is what we want to see defines the transition process in Edo State.
Your thoughts a little bit, Reverend. I'll still bring you back, but I want to go to the venue. Jude Abugu, our correspondent, is there at the venue. I believe that's Samuel Ogumudia Stadium. Jude, if you are there, tell us what is happening at this time. I can see a lot of people behind you, rushing, wearing the same attire to that venue. Jude, if you can hear me, what is happening out there at the Samuel Ogumudia Stadium? I can see a lot of people behind you.
Edo State now has a new governor in the person of Senator Monday Okpewolo. A while ago, the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Okumbowa, administered oath of office on Senator Okpewolo and his deputy, Dennis Idahosa. You will remember that Senator Okpewolo contested and won the September 21 governorship election on the platform of the All Progressive Congress. A lot of fanfare and celebrations are now going on within and outside the. They are happy over the seamless transition from the PDP governor led by Godwin Obaseki to a APC government, which Okpebolo is now taking over from Obaseki. There were some activities that led to this transition today. And I'll be speaking with one of the APC chieftains that was part of the transition committee, talking about Washington Osifo. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. How
what
are you?
Is the atmosphere?
Well, as you can see, it's fanfare, celebration, joy, untold. And there are so many reasons for that. We have just concluded, today, the darkest era of Edo political history, which was between 2016 and 2024, which ended today. And we'll be looking forward to a new regime that will usher in love, that will usher in new atmosphere of conviviality, new takeoff for development, which should ordinarily be the right of the people. I am grateful to God for the person, the kind of governor he has given to us, in the person of Senator Monday Okpewolo. He's a man that fears God, just as it is written, a man after God's own heart. If you don't fear God, you cannot respect the people. This is about social contract. He's a man who has told us, and I don't believe in him, has made manifest in his choice, as governor.
Jude, I'd like you to ask our guest a few questions, and that is, if you can hear me, concerning the attendance. Was the governor there? Who are the people who handed over?
In the area of security itself, in the area of engaging the youth, women, and the area of health sector, social sectors, particularly, as things that should be minimal, in terms of citizens assessing it, not taking it up high the roof to the extent that ordinary citizens cannot.
All right. Talking about the ceremony that took place today, we can see a beehive of activities. Were you impressed with the turnout of dignitaries and personalities to grace the inauguration?
Actually, this is what they call seas of heads. You see that there are virtually no space anywhere. It tells you, apart from the guests were not idle. They were active, they were happy, and that was what, crowned what happened today. You can see joy in the air. You are even feeling it, and it means that when there's joy, you can't hide it. And when there's sorrow, you also can't hide it. But for today, the reason why it is different, if just like what I've just told you, is a transition from, a government that gave us pain, and God has just given us one that will usher in joy and happiness. And without happiness and joy, there can be no meaningful development. Edo is happy, and Edo has made the choice. So I want to congratulate Senator Monday.
In terms of who is who?
Yes,
in Nigeria,
in terms of who is who in Nigeria and Edo State. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by no other person by his vice president here today. That means the president came, and you saw governors from all APC states and all of that, here. And you saw leaders of Edo State, from a traditional to religious leaders to captains of industries all over Nigeria. They are here. And I mean, what else can we say other than to say thank you, God?
So people that were not privileged to watch it live, they'll be wondering if the former governor also graced the occasion.
No. The former governor, obviously, before today, we knew he wasn't coming. If you are not a friend of the people, it becomes your luck coming out, to be assessed when you have faith. He has passed a vote of no confidence in himself by refusing to show up today. So, it is a lesson to everybody. It is the reason why he didn't come. It's not because he was passing the baton from one political party, the PDP, to APC. No. The reason is because he failed Edo people. He divided. Edo was never divided like it was under his regime. What we look forward to is a better Edo, a glorious Edo, under the regime of Senator Monday Okpewolo.
Thank you, Jude.
Thank you very much, Washington Osifo, for giving us
let me just say this. Did you hear
insights.
What he said? I'm a member of the 14 that was refused access to the House of Assembly.
I will remember.
You heard what he said. He said that is one thing he will visit again.
Thank you very much. We can see the atmosphere. The joy is in the air. And Fisayo, that's the situation from Samuel Ogbemdale.
I can see Jude Abugu. I can see Jude Abugu. Your guest was asking you that you could feel it. I don't know whether you could feel it, but I will get back to you. Of course, hopefully that Ondo State is also around the corner. We'll see how that pans out. Thank you very much, Jude Abugu from Benin. We still have Reverend David Ugolo with us. Reverend, we just spoke with people at the stadium not too far from where you are, the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, where the inauguration took place under the supervision, of course, of His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. APC jubilating, PDP perhaps are not particularly excited about that. But very quickly, what are your words for the people of your states and what are your expectations as we move ahead?
First, there's so much expectation. And I think that one of the first things that they expect from Senator Monday Okpewolo, now the governor of Edo State, is to first announce his cabinet. We expect that there should be no further delay He should announce his cabinet, let us know who is appointed to different positions. And like I've always said, those who help you to campaign might not necessarily be the people that will help you and define how you implement governance. And then secondly, Okpebholo has to again present his agenda very clearly and coherently. How he's going to deal with the challenge, some of the challenge taken from the outgoing government. And then he has to also let Edo people know the current state of the asset and the current state of liability in Edo State. When I mean liability, what is the total debt exposure of Edo State? Who is Edo State government owing? Which bank? And then all the several MOU that Edo State government entered into in the last 8 years. It would be good for Edo people to know what are the content and provisions in those memorandum of understanding. Who is representing Edo State, and what is Edo State interest, and what is the benefit for the past 8 years. These are things that would necessarily be seen in the handover note. But as you know, the acrimonious nature of the transition process did not allow the Edo people to see such information. But I do hope that in the next few weeks, Senator Monday Okpebholo, the governor of Edo State, will take the necessary steps and to be able to make it look very all-encompassing. It should not be the political party affairs alone. Monday Okpebholo should realize that he's the governor of Edo State. And I said this very clearly in my letter to the governor, who is now the governor of all people. He's not the governor of PC. And I stand by that comment. He's not the governor of Edo State. And in my analysis, I said it all. If you look at the total number of people that voted for Monday Okpebholo, it's less than 50%. And the total population that also voted for PDP, they're up to about 20%. And if you take in total, so Monday Okpebholo becoming Edo State governor is not just the Edo State, it's the governor of those who voted for him alone, or those of his political party. He's the governor of Edo State. And what that means is that in moving Edo State forward, he should try to play emphasis in reaching out to talents within the states and ensure that he used talent from PDP, used talent from APC, used talent from different parts of the state so that he can push the state forward. Ownership is fundamental. I think that's one of the key lessons that previous government will learn. The idea of exporting experts from Lagos, from Abuja to Benin doesn't work. It's not sustainable. And the issue of transparency and disclosure is very important. How you spend government money, then in all, security, security, security. How you manage the security architecture of the state is very fundamental. If you are going to attract investment, if the place is not secure, the people will not be able to do anything.
You have made a point. Time is not a friend of the program, but of course, this conversation will continue. There's enough time perhaps to set agenda for Senator Monday Okpebholo, the new governor of Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation. We wish you the very best, of course, in your own, agenda, of course, that you have put forward to Edo people, the letters you've written and your expectation, as well as a new governor as he mounts the saddle. That has been Political Update for today. Many thanks to our guests and reporters for being there for us, and for you for watching. Between now and when we come your way again, we'll be in Akure then. Please play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.